If you work in an office and you don't bring anything special to the party, then should you lose your job, you are going to be someone who is a lot more vulnerable than somebody else. So the three things that I said were crucial to my success, and I think that anyone can apply to their success, and that these are things that will make you super successful during the good economy, and will still be able to make you keep your head above water during shit economy. First of all, you've got to have a skill, and there's no specific answer of what that skill is, but you have to have a skill that people are willing to pay for. Now, in the interview I did, the example I was talking about is, my skill set is being able to put deals together. My skill set is being able to raise finance for people. That is a skill that people will pay for. And again, there's going to be high paid skills and lower paid skills, but so many of you have already got a skill, and if you haven't got a skill, now's the time to go and learn it. A skill that you can monetize, whether you are a gardener, a hairdresser, a beautician, an expert at social media. Vivian, who was on here, may still be on here, is a photographer. Are you a chef? Whatever your skill is, make sure you've got a skill. And the more skills you've got, obviously the more valuable you are, but people always want those skills in times of plenty and in times of few. So number one, make sure you've got a skill. Make sure you can add value to someone. If you effectively work for someone else at the moment and don't have anything unique to bring to the table, I'm not trying to sound derogatory when I'm saying this to you, but you don't have a skill that other people are going to want if you are out of a job. If you work in an office and you don't bring anything special to the party, then should you lose your job, you are going to be someone who is a lot more vulnerable than somebody else. So okay, Viv's name's popped up on there again, so Viv's still here. So Viv has a skill as a photographer. So during the good times, she can be working 5 or 6 days a week. During the crap times now, obviously, she's struggling to get work doing events because there are no events, there are no weddings, but she still has a skill that she's able to monetize in different ways. And she may not be able to get as much money as she wants, or she may not be able to get as much money as she would from an event right now. I'm sure that will grow as she spends more time on the different directions she's going down, but she has a skill. And that's the same whether you're a hairdresser, a gardener, a beautician, can you speak fluent French? So you could be a French teacher or a translator. So number one, you've got to have a skill. Number two, you've got to be able to communicate. So these were the three things I said. I said skill, communicate. Now by communicate, I'm talking about getting your message across to your audience. I'm talking about the ability to sell. I'm talking about the ability to communicate on social media, the ability to network. Networking is something I've always said has been fundamental to my success. I've got an amazing Rolodex of people, from people with skills to people with money to people with influence to people with celebrity. I've always been very good at communicating and building relationships with those people. And if you're shy, then maybe you can start online. But again, like a lot of the things we talk about, the only way to get better at something is to practice it and to do it. And there's no shortcut. There's no easy way. You've got to have that first conversation, then have that second conversation, then have that third conversation. And ultimately, you may never like it, but you'll certainly get easier at it. So have a skill, be able to communicate, and third, I said, I believe I've been successful because I have a positive outlook on life, and I always look at the good rather than the bad. This is something we always talk, you guys and I talk about every night during lockdown. That we can be sat at home moaning about how bad everything is because our businesses are closed down and the world's come to an end, or we can be sat here thinking of strategies to make our businesses work during lockdown, during quarantine. We can be sat here thinking of strategies to make ourselves successful when we come out of this. I was on the phone to a friend of mine today, and I won't say who or what about, but we were talking. They were telling me about some of the things with their business. And I was saying, why don't you try this idea? Why don't you try that idea? Why don't you try the other idea? And they kept saying they just had a no and a negative answer to everything that I talk about. And it was, no, we can't do this. No, we can't do that. Now, listen, I get it. I don't know his business like he knows it. And maybe he's right to say that some of the things I said weren't possible. But I don't really think he gave it the chance. It was just, he'd rather say no than think outside the box and say yes. So have a skill, be able to communicate, and have a positive attitude. And I think if you have those three things, no, Paige, I came on 4 minutes late. Don't worry, I've still got 4 minutes. If you've got those three things, you will be able to thrive during any circumstance. So if the world's going great, you're going to be smashing it, and if the world's not so good like it is now, you will still be able to survive, to make money, to add value, and to make sales.